Act 1. Marley's Ghost. 6 roles needed. Narrator, Scrooge, a grumpy old man. Nephew, a cheerful young man. Gentleman, a kindly man. Marley, a whining ghost. And a flame, scared. Narrator. Once upon a time, once upon a Christmas Eve, old Scrooge sat busy in his counting house. Nephew. A Merry Christmas, Uncle. Narrator. It was the voice of Scrooge's nephew. Scrooge. Bah, humbug. Nephew. Christmas is a humbug, Uncle. You don't mean that, I'm sure. Scrooge. I do. Out upon Merry Christmas. If I had my will, every idiot who goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips should be boiled with his own pudding. He should. Nephew. Uncle. Scrooge. Nephew, keep Christmas in your own way and let me keep it in mine. Keep it, but you don't keep it. Scrooge. Let me leave it alone then. Much good may it do you, much good it has ever done you. Nephew. I have always thought of Christmas time as a good time, a kind, forgiving, charitable, pleasant time. And therefore, Uncle, though it has never put a scrap of gold or silver in my pocket, I believe it has done me good, and will do me good, and I say God bless it. Scrooge. Good afternoon. Nephew. I'll keep my Christmas humor to the last, so a Merry Christmas, Uncle. Scrooge. Good afternoon. Nephew. And a Happy New Year. Scrooge. Good afternoon. Narrator. His nephew left the room without any angry word, but the clerk, in letting Scrooge's nephew out, had let 2 other people in. Gentlemen, at this festive season of the year, Mr. Scrooge, we should make some slight provision for the poor and destitute, who suffer greatly at the present time. A few of us are endeavoring to raise a fund to buy the poor some meat and drink and means of warmth. What shall I put you down for? Question. When Scrooge's nephew stops by to invite him to dinner, what does their conversation reveal? Scrooge. Nothing. Gentlemen, you wish to be anonymous? Scrooge. I wish to be left alone. Since you ask me what I wish, gentlemen, that is my answer. I don't make merry myself at Christmas, and I can't afford to make idle people merry. I help to support the prisons and the workhouses. They cost enough, and those who are badly off must go there. Gentlemen, many can't go there, and many would rather die. Scrooge. If they would rather die, they had better do it. Narrator. The hour of shutting up the counting house arrived. Scrooge took his melancholy dinner in his usual melancholy tavern, and went home to bed. Now it is a fact that there was nothing at all particular about the knocker on the door of this house, except it was very large, and yet Scrooge, having his key in the lock of the door, saw in the knocker, not a knocker, but Marley's face. Marley's face with a dismal light about it, like a bad lobster in a dark cellar. As Scrooge looked at this, it was a knocker again. He said, Scrooge, pooh, pooh. Question. A. Character. Reread. How would you describe Scrooge and why? Next question, setting. How does the story setting affect the plot? Narrator. And closed the door with a bang. The sound resounded through the house like thunder. Bang, bang, bang. Every room above and every cask in the wine merchant's cellar below. Bang, bang, bang. Appeared to have a separate peal of echoes. Bang, bang, bang of its own. Scrooge was not a man to be frightened by echoes. He fastened the door and walked across the hall and up the stairs. Up Scrooge went, not caring a button for its being very dark. Darkness is cheap, and Scrooge liked it. Quite satisfied, he closed his door and locked himself in. Double locked himself in, which was not his custom. Thus secured against surprise, he put on his dressing gown and slippers, and his nightcap, and sat down before the very low fire to take his gruel. As he threw his head back in the chair, his glance happened upon a bell, a disused bell, that hung in the room. It was with great astonishment and with a strange dread that as he looked, he saw this bell begin to swing. Ding, ding, ding. Soon it rang out loudly. Ding, ding, ding. And so did every bell in the house. Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. This was succeeded by a clanking noise. Clank. Deep down below. Clank. As if some person, clank, were dragging a very heavy chain, clank, over the casks in the wine merchant's cellar. Then he heard the noise much louder, clank, on the floors below, clank, then coming up the stairs, clank, then coming straight towards his door, clank. It came on through the heavy door, clank, and the spectre passed into the room before his eyes, and upon its coming in, the dying flame leaped up as though it cried. Flame. I know him, Marley's ghost. Scrooge. What do you want with me? Marley. Much. Scrooge. Who are you? Marley. Ask me who I was. Scrooge. Who were you then? Marley. In life I was your partner, Jacob Marley. Narrator. The ghost sat down on the opposite side of the fireplace as if he were quite used to it. Marley. You don't believe in me. Scrooge. I don't. Marley. Why do you doubt your senses? Question. Why does Marley visit Scrooge in the beginning of Act 1? Next question. How would you describe Marley and Scrooge's relationship? Scrooge. Because a little thing affects him. You may be an undigested bit of beef, a blot of mustard, a crumb of cheese, a fragment of an undone potato. There's more of a gravy than of grave about you, whatever you are. Narrator. The spirit raised a frightful cry. Marley howled. Oh! Scrooge. Mercy, dreadful apparition, why do you trouble me? Why do spirits walk the earth, and why do they come to me? Marley. It is required of every man that the spirit within him should walk among his fellow men, and travel far and wide, And if that spirit goes not forth in life, it is condemned to do so after death. I cannot rest. I cannot stay. I cannot linger anywhere. My spirit never walked beyond our counting house. Mark me. In life, my spirit never roved beyond our money changing hole, and weary journeys lie before me. Narrator. Scrooge was very much dismayed to hear the spectre going on at this rate, and began to quake exceedingly. Marley. I am here tonight to warn you that you have yet a chance and hope of escaping my fate. You will be haunted by three spirits. Expect the first tomorrow night, when the bell tolls one. Expect the second on the next night, at the same hour. The third upon the next night, when the last stroke of 12 has ceased to vibrate. Look to see me no more. Narrator. Scrooge tried to say humbug, but stopped at the first syllable, and being from the emotion he had undergone, or the fatigues of the day, or his glimpse of the invisible world, or the conversation of the ghosts, or the lateness of the hour, he went straight to bed without undressing, and fell asleep on the instant, making snoring sounds as if asleep. All the children now sing. Deck the halls with boughs of holly. La 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 la. 'Tis the season to be jolly. Fa la 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 la. Don we now our gay apparel. Fa la 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 la. Troll the ancient Yuletide carol. Fa la 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 la. Last page is summary. Write a summary of Act 1. B. Beginning. Somebody who wanted. What does the character want or not want? But what was the problem? Middle. So, how did the character try to solve the problem? And then, how did the Act 1 end?